Welcome back to episode 20 of Chambers Chatter. I'm Laura Chambers Babalis.
And I'm Shae Chambers Helms. Today we're super excited to introduce the Aimar twins, Sandra and Sharon, to the show. You'll probably recognize them from the Twin Talk.
We want to give a shout out to Sea Island's Crawl Space, Aesthetic Dentistry, and Social Soiree for their support of today's episode.
Sharon, Sandra, we are so happy to have y'all here today. Thank you for coming.
Oh, thank you for having us. We're excited. Thrilled.
Okay, we're going to start. And I love that y'all brought a list with y'all fun things to talk about. So we'll just start at the beginning and being the first babies born.
We were the first babies born in Savannah, Georgia in 1962. I was number one. I was number two. 12:50 and 12:55 into the new year. Our parents had been at a New Year's Eve party, and my mother told our father it was time to go. And they rushed to Savannah to the Telfair unit, which is no longer there. But we were celebrities from the beginning. We were in the newspaper and everything.
News. That's going to be good luck right there.
It was the best birthday ever. Because you have it off, and there's always a party. Everybody's celebrating. Everybody. Wonderful. So it's a wonderful way to start the new year.
That is so fun.
That is amazing. I can't, truly every year. Okay, perfect. So the Dolphins.
When we were young, our father worked at a pharmacy, and he worked quite a bit, 6 days a week. And my mother finally said, we have to go on vacation. And Dad said, oh, well, we'll go out to Land's End. Okay, which is a whole 20 minutes from our house. So we go out to Land's End, and Dad, being the great father that he was, gave Mom a break, and we went out in our little boat. And we were out in the Sound, and about that time, we saw a porpoise jump clear out of the water. I mean, full body.
Wow.
Then another. And we stayed out there, I'd say, for 35 minutes watching a pod of dolphins.
We were surrounded. There must have been 100. And we were in the water with them.
No way.
It was
unbelievable.
We've never seen it like that since. Dad, who grew up here, had also never seen it like that. It was, and we were being pulled behind this little tiny boat.
I mean, it was absolutely a magical moment.
And coming fully out of water, too. I mean, you don't see that in
usually
itself.
Don't do that.
And they weren't spinner dolphins, but they would spin. I mean, they were frolicking. It was absolutely unbelievable.
That's a good Lowcountry memory, for sure.
It was
oh, my
incredible.
gosh. At the Land's End vacation.
Right.
Vacation.
20 minutes away.
My mother said, we're never doing that again.
That is so funny. So we're moving into the whale story.
Okay. When I guess we're about 9 or 10, people had spotted pilot whales in Beaufort. And some had beached themselves out at Bay Point. So Dad takes us out there to see the whales.
It was cold.
It was very cold. 17-foot Boston whaler, and he decides he's going to pull one of those back. There was a little one, which I was little, but I bet it was at least this big.
Yeah.
And he pulls that thing all the way home to the web.
He wanted a whale tooth to carve.
Uh-huh. And he was such a trooper. He
was the best.
And he brought that whale all the way home and tied it up to the Webb's dock because we didn't have a dock at that time. And he tried to get that tooth out, but it didn't work.
The skin was so tough on that whale, he could not penetrate that skin.
Mm-mm.
And then finally, Charlie Webb and Charmian said, we appreciate what you've done for the girls, but it's starting to stink.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to have to tow it back out, Neil.
And he did.
And he did.
Oh my gosh. Did y'all see the whales frequently during this time?
Oh, no.
They had beached themselves at Bay Point.
But some people saw them go under what I call the old bridge, the Beaufort Bridge.
Mm-hmm.
They saw them swimming under there. Yeah. It's that bizarre. And I guess that would have been in the early 70s or very late 60s.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And just like not many people got to see the white dolphin. That was right before our time, I think.
Yeah. Mom and Dad were just talking
Yeah,
about that
they
the
were
other day,
talking
actually.
about the special albino dolphin. Yeah. Oh, man.
We really have been.
It was just such a wonderful place to grow up. It was so
And
Americana.
there was so much wildlife. People don't realize we grew up in the country. Ladies Island was the country.
Right over, we grew up on Sunset Boulevard.
We moved there when we were 4.
And we were, I believe, the 11th house on that street. And at one point, we had a pony and chickens and geese in our backyard. Now, it was just on Sunset.
That's hard to imagine.
We didn't have anybody living on either side, and we had what was called the path to the Webb's house. And, but it was the country.
Down off of Sunset, there was another family that had horses.
Oh, my gosh.
So our aunt that lived in Atlanta, Nan, gave us a pony for one Christmas. And we got cowgirl outfits, and it was a little Shetland pony. She was 36 inches at the shoulder. Her name was Tammy. And Charlie Webb, not the one that owned Kinghorn, but his father, and our father pre-built a pony show.
And they put it up Christmas Eve. So we had no idea we were getting a pony. Oh, my God. And
we woke up the next morning, and the pony shed had been built. And Tammy was kept at the Ashley's house where they had ponies, easy walking distance. And they brought the pony to our house because Sunset was the country. People can't imagine that just in this amount of time, a decade, a couple of decades now, as we are young. We had geese.
And we had geese, chickens. Our mother had grown up on a farm in Georgia, so she was accustomed to that, and she thought we'd really enjoyed that. And that pony would chase her around that yard, and finally...
chase her out of the yard.
Finally, she said, I've had it with Tammy, and she gave it to Dr. Pratt. And Dr. Pratt, the veterinarian, kept it for 37 years.
Wow.
Yeah, on his property, because he had a lot of property.
Yeah.
And so that was, but we had that pony maybe for a year, would you say?
I don't know.
But
he was mean.
Sis, you can talk about how recreation was in the street.
There was such little traffic on Sunset that our parents would say, go play tennis in the road.
Oh.
And we would take our tennis rackets
and play tennis in the road. I got so bored one summer that I wrote a sign that said Boardsville, USA, and I nailed it to a tree, and my mother was upset. But because we are so lucky to have grown up here.
Yeah.
And she was right, but there was not a lot of activity. We had the Deloach family that was down the street, the Pringles. Well, later on, the Remkes. And
our cousin Alton. And we had this little trail right on the river, right on the bluff, called the Rugged Trail. And we would play on that all the time. We would play in the river. You didn't have to worry about boats on that river at all.
Yeah.
We to this day, every summer, swim across Factory Creek and back at least one time. This year we did it 3 times in a row.
Oh. And the most I've ever done it is 9.
Like from the landing basically to the end?
No,
okay. I was going to say, wow.
Now we've done float downs.
Sure.
Where we jump in at the landing and float down to Dad's dock. Mm-hmm. But we haven't done that in a while.
2 years, maybe.
We did it when our father was not well. He said, I want to do one more float down.
Uh-huh.
And he said, but I don't know how I'm going to. I said, we're going to get you out. But we floated down, and I think it was one of his last joys in life.
We were really little because everybody had a boat. And we had that, wasn't it that little metal boat?
The Eldercraft.
And we would take, first when you were real little, like when we were 6, we could only go to where the marina is and Marsh Harbor. That was our first boundaries. Even being girls, we could do that. Now, when we were real little, girls didn't go fishing. We weren't allowed to go.
Or camping.
And girls, like when we started school, we went to Beaufort Academy. I'll let you talk about that.
Dad and a group of people, Dad and our Uncle Charles and some others, got together. I think your grandfather was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I believe there were 8 founding members, I could be wrong, of Beaufort Academy, and they put the school together during segregation. And I remember going to the office and they'd say, you know, get a check from your father. We need more money at the school. And we'd go home and and when we went the next day, we'd hand them the check.
And that was
the school was just starting up.
Yeah.
And they would play soccer out at the Henry's farm. They didn't have a soccer field.
Oh,
so we'd go out.
And Mr. Merritt donated the land.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why the field was called Merritt's Field.
I did not know
at
that.
BA, and I think the class of 1978, was the class that donated the sign. Because at every senior class gave back to BA because they had given so much back to them.
Wow.
If it was a special year, Mom and Dad would let us ride our bikes all the way to Beaufort Academy because Sam's Point Road was just a little 2-lane road.
I do remember that.
I mean, it was nothing. And we had so much fun on that river. It was so safe. Beaufort was so safe, we would get in trouble if we took the car keys out of the car.
If we locked the house, my God.
I didn't even know that we had a key to the house. We
didn't get a key to the house till I was 18.
It was just so different.
Let's talk about the Oyster Factory.
We grew up on Oyster Factory Creek, which is known for the old oyster factory that when we were little, they were still running, and they would bring the barges of oysters down Yellowtail. And the factory, Majoni's, was right down the river from us.
I didn't even know that was why it was named that, to be honest.
Oh, yes, absolutely. There's a placard.
Yeah, okay.
And there's a placard now, a historical marker where the Dysons live.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's where the Oyster Factory was. Bennett McNeil bought all that property from them and developed it. And like Sis said, in the mornings when we were eating breakfast before school, you would see the oyster barges going out. And when we came home from school in the afternoon, the barges would be coming back full of oysters.
And they chuck them and all right down there. And the other thing Mr. Majoni did, he's world-class carver.
Mm.
But that's how different just Ladies Island was. We could ride our bikes from Dad's house, which I guess is 71, down the street and over the bridge, and you wouldn't have to worry. Because we looked onto the bridge when the bridge opened for boats, if traffic backed up onto the causeway, Dad would say, look at all that traffic.
Look at all the traffic.
Oh, gosh. Can you imagine now?
He could not believe it, and that just wouldn't be the case. You could never let your child ride a bike over that. That was before that little lane had been added.
Right.
We were riding on the bridge all the way downtown. When we went downtown, people would know exactly who we were.
Oh, my gosh. You could go in a store and say, I don't have any money, and they'd say, don't worry.
We know your
parents. Yeah.
We were known as the Aimar twins.
Yeah.
Talking about Dad and our Uncle Charles, they were pharmacists, and we had another uncle that was a pharmacist here, Mac Goodwin. Pharmacy goes back in our family
to the oldest pharmacy in the country, which was in Charleston, and it was Amar's Pharmacy. I believe they closed in the late 70s, but they were the oldest pharmacy in the country.
And Dad operated, the first store was Colonial where the city hall is currently. Then they rented a building on Carteret Street.
Maybe from your grandfather.
Okay.
And then they bought the building that was the Coca-Cola bottling building on the corner of Port Republic and Carteret, which your grandfather did end up owning. Okay, that's where the real estate office was.
Yep.
Okay, but for years, that was Amar's pharmacy, and they even still had the soda fountain and everything there. But that was right when we were born. They did away with the soda fountain. And then they needed another store, so they opened Rebo Pharmacy, and
Dad ran that one.
Dad ran that one. Wow. So pharmacy.
Several, yeah.
Then when the chains came in the 80s, our father's store had a lot of what they call upfront merchandise, and it put him out of business. The chains put him out of business. He couldn't compete.
But Uncle Charles held on to his apothecary.
And our father went to work what is now CVS, but it was a Revco because they decided since he was the last one to come into the family business, he would be the one to go out.
Wow. But Dad would talk about, because he was on Rebo, Dad would talk about Rebo Road when he was little. It was a shell rake road.
Yeah. That is so hard to believe.
Isn't that hard to believe?
It's hard to believe.
I think Pierre McGowan, wrote a book and it mentions that shell road.
Wow, that's
and they widened that in our lifetime.
They widened it in our lifetime. There used to be beautiful oak trees on Rebo Road. They were magnificent, but they removed them.
For anyone who has watched Cookie's episode and heard about the pharmacy, I just wanted to connect the dots. So what is that relation from y'all to Cookie?
Cookie is our first cousin.
Okay.
Her mother was our father's sister.
Okay.
Our grandparents were from Thunderbolt, Georgia, but originally their families were from Charleston.
So we've been in this area. Our family's been in the Lowcountry since, I'm sure, the 1700s. We're first families, for what that's worth. But But Dad was one of 5. Aunt Barbara. Then there was Billy, then Uncle Charles, then Uncle Toomer, then our father Neil. So, and most of, like Aunt Chip had 5.
Wow.
She had 5, and then
Charles had 5.
Then Billy had 4, Toomer had 3, and Neil had 3. So we
have an extended family.
It's a big family reunion. That's a fun one.
It's really a fun one, and it was so fun growing up here because we'd take our boat because we lived on the island, which we
were island people.
We were island people, and then we could take the boat downtown to Uncle Charles's, and we'd go swimming or either at the yacht club. And while the yacht club is rural now, you can't imagine how rural it was back then.
Yeah.
Larry Rowland's wife, Mrs. Hunter, talks about she had lived with her grandparents down Meridian. And when she first started teaching here, the truck she borrowed from her grandparents didn't have brakes, and she'd ride her truck down the road, and to stop it, she'd just hit the stop sign.
Oh my God. Did it have brakes?
Yeah.
And she was so beautiful. She
is beautiful. And
just like Grace Kelly, and spoke just like Grace Kelly. She's just lovely. She's Larry Rowland's wife. So Dawtaw, that kind of segue into Dawtaw.
Okay. Before Dawtaw was developed, Beaufort had their volunteer base, usually through the churches, developed a lot of community service. That's where it was fed from. Then what happened, Dawtaw became developed, and it offered Beaufort an educated, wealthy volunteer base. And what that gave was people to give to the hospital, to give to the arts, to give to the Historic Society. And that really started the blossom of volunteerism and a lot of good philanthropy to service north of the Broad. Because we didn't have that growing up. People were, it was after the war and things were doing well, and then you're cruising to the 60s and 70s. But Beaufort really, they did have some, what I call family fathers that really took care of Beaufort. Your grandfather certainly being one, and Mr. Pringle, Wyatt Pringle.
Without a doubt.
And some of the Aimars, for sure, and some of the Trask and the Webbs, to name a few. There's many. But what really gave...
What Dawta did for Beaufort, it changed...
The volunteer hours.
I work at Good Neighbor Medical Clinic, a free medical clinic here, and I can't tell you how many volunteers we have from Dawta, and we really appreciate it. But I think we need to also touch on, just as a whole, how much Beaufort has changed. Like when we used to go to Hunting Island, and how far out the lighthouse was.
Oh, yeah, the erosion that has taken place here. When we were little, I'm sure that we had to walk at least...
Now, we were little, so distance.
But the sand dunes, sis.
The sand dunes were like 20 feet tall out there.
On Hunting Island.
On Hunting Island.
Oh, my gosh.
And I don't want to say a quarter of a mile.
But it felt like, definitely, that lighthouse was way out there. I don't know how many times they've moved it, maybe 3 times?
I didn't even realize they've moved it, to be honest.
They've moved it.
Multiple times.
Yes, and they've moved it in and in. So when we were little, there were fantastic waves to do body surfing.
Yeah.
Most people don't even body surf anymore, and it's fantastic.
We love to body surf.
Yeah, except with your hair, you know what it does to your hair. But growing up here, because there's so many outdoor activities...
Let's talk about Studio 54.
Oh, my gosh. Well, the Pingreys did. On Boundary Street, Mrs. Pingree, I believe, probably went to Studio 54, and she thought Beaufort needed a Studio 54 like New York City. And she came here, and she built the Sans Souci
bar, and it had a light-up dance floor.
Oh, how fun.
Just like Studio.
We haven't heard about this yet. Have we?
No, nobody's talked about this.
Right down
We
the
were
street.
too young to go.
But right down the street from the Yankee, you've certainly heard of the Yankee.
No.
The sandwich place?
No.
The Yankees? Well, we only went there like one time because
Our father was
ladies didn't go there.
allowed to go there.
But that lady who ran that, and you should find out the name of her. She ruled.
Her name was
Pearl. That's right. She ruled with an iron fist, and I think it could get rough in there at night. But they said Pearl would keep things in line
because the Marines would go there, the recruits.
Where was it?
It was on Boundary
Street where the Boys and Girls Club was.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. It was a part of Beaufort. And right across the
all
street.
the lawyers would go to lunch there.
Uh-huh.
But no one ever went there at night.
We
So
took
it's
our grandmother in there, and she walked
said,
in.
"Oh my
She
God,
said, it's
so
too dark.
I can't eat here." I said, we will order. Dad took us, escorted us there. And she said, "I don't even know if I can eat." I said, you can't.
You have to remember, when we started to go to school, things were so different. We were not allowed to wear sandals. We were not allowed to wear pants.
Wow, that's so crazy.
That looked like a skirt on the outside.
You couldn't chew gum?
Oh, no. There were just so many things you couldn't do. And
wild.
I hesitate to say this, but downtown was so different as well. At the foot of the bridge, the old bridge,
There was a warehouse.
Yeah, there was that warehouse. If you're coming from Ladies Island on the left, and across the street, there was always a black man with cotton making a cast net.
Oh,
He
very
would hide
cool.
a palmetto tree and weave it.
and
Oh,
weave it
wow.
right there. And
And
then
it's on the front of some magazine books here.
And
Oh,
then,
okay, we gotta find
right
that.
across from him would be where the people that lived way out on the island on St. Helena, that's where they'd catch a ride, and they would hitch a ride right there. I mean, there would be like
it was commonplace.
Yeah,
commonplace.
like normal.
And I would say the last place you could really hear Gullah at the end of Sunset, before they put that curve in, where the antique place is, that used to be the A&P. And that's really the last place where I heard a lot of people speaking Gullah. Where I work, occasionally I'll get somebody that still speaks true Gullah, you know, not where they're imitating, but where they still speak
Have that
true Gullah.
dialect.
For instance,
We had a maid.
yeah, everybody had house
Help.
keepers. And ours, we love you, Sarah.
Oh my gosh.
Sarah had,
A part of the family.
I don't know how many children she had, but Dad said she had one that was born that was ill. Something was the matter with its legs. And you know what she would do?
Listen what they did.
They dug a hole, and during the day, they packed cotton around
that they got from Dad's store.
this hole, and they put that baby with its arms up like this, and he would stay in there for hours to straighten out its legs.
Oh,
We had, with one of our chickens, we had an ashtray, and Dad let us make an incubator, and we hatched it, and when it hatched, it was a rooster, and we gave it to Sarah.
And I had a little chicken. Our grandmother was known for her Easter egg hunts. Lived on the point, and she was, the entire family, I don't know, about 100 of us, we go, Easter was at Mother Amar's, okay?
Without a doubt.
And we all had our Easter egg hunt. But
And our dresses and hats and gloves.
You could get a chicken. And I got a chicken, you got a chicken. And I trained my chicken that once it grew up into a hen to ride on my baby carriage. And then one day the chicken was gone, and I think it probably went to Sarah. But my mother said the chicken's gone.
Oh.
I do want to mention this story before we have to go. As we've alluded to several times, we grew up on Sunset. And our mother won a drawing from the Charleston Merchants Association, and she won a Mustang. I don't remember what year.
In the 60s.
And
Wild.
So wild.
she decided as a business person to sell that Mustang. And she bought the lot on Sunset, and that's how we ended up living there.
On Sunset.
That is so wild.
They paid $2,500 for the lot.
Something like that, yes.
Can you imagine being able to sell a car and buy a piece of land
know.
with it
I
today?
know.
Was that
Especially on the river.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
I think they bought the lot for the tree, sis.
I don't know what time,
That had to be in 59 because Gracie came through in 59.
I don't remember. I don't.
That's also the year they opened the new bridge in 1959.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And Gracie came through, and there was this beautiful oak tree that went down along the river like yours do, and Gracie took it out.
Oh, my
Devastating.
gosh.
But no, but so it's still down there.
Yeah.
It's literally petrified from the salt water.
Crazy.
That is really crazy. We'll have to try to get a picture of that. And
We-
before we wrap
yeah,
up,
we have to end with
Twin Talk.
yes.
Oh, Twin Talk.
Tell us about that. How did it start? Tell us everything.
Number one, we love.
Talked about it.
We've always talked about doing Twin Talk. We love to talk, and we're twins. And we love weather. And so.
And we love each other.
Right, without a doubt. And one day we just said, let's video us. We always do it spur of the moment. We just said,
Everybody has begged us to do Twin Talk for decades.
and so we just started, I guess, 3 years ago when I met.
So
When you moved
fun.
back.
Thank you. And we want to thank y'all for hosting us. This
We're
has been
just so
much
honored that
fun.
y'all wanted us.
This is so fun.
Where can people find Twin Talk?
On Instagram or Facebook.
And y'all primarily do weather, but y'all have branched out, right?
We can do it on anything. We're going to take a trip to Houston next week, and we'll probably do a few from there.
Uh-huh.
That
So
is so
fun.
fun.
What's
I
the
love it.
account called?
I just do hashtag Twin Talk. I do hashtag weather.
Hashtag Beaufort, hashtag.
Yeah, we
So
always
your personal accounts and then look for
Right.
those. Okay.
We don't know how to do it. Maybe y'all can teach us.
I love it.
So
Thank y'all
fun.
so much.
Thank you.
So
We appreciate
fun.
it.
Y'all are
Thank
so
you.